welcome to my channel. This is Elizabeth with Wondering Soul Enterprises, here today to bring you a Spring Dosha Balancing yoga sequence. So springtime is when we're changing from the coldness of winter to the warmth of summer, so it's a transitory season, but similar to winter, there is an emphasis on kapha during springtime, which kapha is all about moisture. So in the winter, we have a lot of cold moisture, but in the springtime, that moisture liquefies, like the snow melts and the flowers start to bloom. So in the springtime, we're looking at like releasing all that moisture, detoxing the body, and it's also allergy season. So we want to make sure to loosen up any like mucus and stuff in the body to get out all the allergens. So that's what this springtime dosha balancing sequence is all about. We're going to be adding a lot of movement into our practice to balance out that kapha. All right, if you are wondering what the doshas are, I have an introduction to the doshas video, so I'll try to post the link to that in the description box below. But let's go ahead and get started. So I want to start by doing some Aikido rolls. I hope I have enough room here to demo this, but let's see. Let's see how it goes. So I like doing Aikido rolls because they get me like motivated. They're a lot of fun. Another good thing to do during springtime is to really play and have fun with your practice. So that's another thing to kind of just like, don't worry so much about keeping a strict schedule. Just kind of play with things, start new things, get ideas, get inspired, okay? So I think that Aikido rolls are very playful and fun and also help to get the heart rate going. So let's just start by doing some simple rolls. So we'll just kind of roll back and forth. You can practice with balancing and holding. Okay, so on this next one, let's come up and we're gonna bring the feet into this position. So we have the left shin kind of parallel to the front edge of the mat, and then the right foot is pointing out straight. The right leg is crossing over the left, okay? That's what it looks like. So we're gonna keep this form, roll back, and then when we get to about this point, we're gonna switch the legs. Okay, and then roll up, and the legs and the feet will be opposite, so that the right shin will be parallel to the front edge of the mat, and the left toes are pointing straight forward. I hope I explained that right this time. I think in my last video it wasn't very clear, so that's how it works. Okay, so we're gonna roll back, switch the legs, bring it back up. Roll back, switch the legs, bring it back up. Okay? So you're going to kind of build up your momentum here. And then you can start to bring the arms into it, kind of making a fist with the opposite hand from the foot that's out in front. You can get a little bit louder with the exhale. Help you direct the energy. And you can keep it here, or you can experiment with coming up like that. Okay, so now that I'm at this position, I'm going to go ahead and come to standing. All right, so let's bring the feet so they're about 3 feet apart. Heels are in line with each other. We can start out with the toes pointing straight forward. Then we're going to take the right foot and point the toes out to this side. So we have shoulders stacked over the hips. Inhaling, bringing the arms to shoulder height. Exhale, we're going to shift the torso. Inhale, lengthen. And on the next exhale, bring it into triangle. Noticing the obliques. Hopefully they're engaging here. And then we'll inhale, bringing it back up. Exhale, we'll rotate towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, we're going to bring the left hand down to the inner edge of the right foot and bring the right hand up towards the ceiling. With every inhale, we're opening up the chest. With the exhale, we're twisting a little bit more. It's almost like we're wringing the body out like a wet towel. And then we'll inhale, coming back up. So we're gonna rotate the right toes. So all the toes are pointing straight forward now. Then we'll rotate the left toes out to the side. Again, keeping the shoulders stacked over the hips. Your shoulders and hips are gonna be pointing straight forward this whole time while we're doing triangle, okay? So we're gonna inhale, bring the arms up to shoulder height. Exhale, shifting the torso. So shoulders and hips are both pointing straight forward. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, bring it into your triangle. And see again, shoulders, hips, they're both out. And don't worry about touching the toes here. It's better to focus on keeping that form and kind of imagining that your body is stuck between two panes of glass. Then inhale, bringing it back up to center. Exhale, we'll rotate the hands. Inhale, lengthen. On the exhale, bring the right hand to the inside of the left foot, bringing the left hand up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, opening up the chest. Exhaling, twisting. And the twist is originating in the hips, coming all the way through the crown of the head. And then on the inhale, we'll cartwheel the hands back up. And we'll heel toe the feet a little bit further away from each other. So if you had your feet about 3 feet apart, now it'll be more like 4 feet apart. It all depends on your height and everything else, but do what's right for you. But we're gonna have a wider stance here. We're working our way towards Warrior Two. So let's go ahead and we'll have the left toes pointing out to the side. Let's have the right toes pointing straight forward here, or you can actually have the toes at a little bit of an angle, like a 60-degree angle. And I like to have a line for Warrior Two. I like to have a line from the heel of the front foot to the arch of the back foot. Again, shoulders are stacked over the hips. We're gonna bend that front knee. So you should be able to see the big toe, maybe part of the second toe, but that knee is opening up. This hip is pulling back and can bend and straighten that back leg to help open up that hip. We'll inhale and bring the arms to shoulder height, drawing the arm bones into their sockets, feeling the fingertips pulling away from each other, and then taking the gaze over that front hand, over the left hand. All right, take a good inhale. On the exhale, we'll bring the left forearm to the thigh and stretch the right arm over the ear for a lateral side angle pose, feeling a nice stretch in the rib cage. If you want, you can bring the left arm up as well for a little more of a challenge. And then inhale, bring it back to Warrior Two. Let's straighten that left knee and we'll switch the feet. So we're gonna have the right toes pointing out to the side and then the left toes are at an angle. You do wanna make sure the outside edge of that back foot is in contact with the mat. Again, shoulders stacked over the hips. We're gonna bend the right knee. You just should be able to see the big toe, maybe part of the second toe, opening out that knee, and then opening out this left hip. This is definitely a hip opener among other things. Drawing the arm bones into their sockets, feel the fingertips magnetically pulling away from each other. And then on the exhale, turning the gaze over the right hand. Take a good inhale, and on the exhale, bring the right forearm to the thigh. Stretch the left arm over the ear for our lateral side angle. You can also lift the right arm up if you like. Then inhaling, bringing it back to warrior two. All right, let's cartwheel the hands down and then bring this into a plank. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, chaturanga. And let's bring it all the way down to the mat. Okay, so from here, let's inhale and lift the chin and the chest up off the mat slightly for a baby cobra. And then exhale, we'll bring it back down. Inhale, let's lift the chin and the chest. Maybe bring the arms to a hover. And exhale, we'll bring it back down. So on this next inhale, we're going to press through the hands. Inhale, lifting the chin and the chest, bringing it into your full range of movement for Cobra Pose. And keep a bend in the elbows. The tops of the thighs, tops of the feet are one with the mat here. Shoulders away from the ears. And the gaze is either straight forward or lifted. Nice inhale, and on the exhale, we'll come back down to the mat. Okay, now let's stretch the arms out in front of the body. Excuse me, my mat is getting all scrunched up here. Okay, there we go. Bring the arms out in front of the body, pointing the toes. And on the inhale, we're going to come into Superman pose. So we're lifting the legs, the arms, the chin, and the chest up off the mat. On the inhale, maybe lifting a little bit more. Good inhale. And on the exhale, lower. Let's bring the hands one on top of the other, bringing the forehead to the hands, and gently rock the hips from side to side. Okay, let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, coming into Cobra, and exhale, let's bring it into Child's Pose. Okay, let's inhale and come into Dandasana, seated staff pose. So we're going to straighten out the legs, press out through the heels, draw the toes in towards the body. We're sitting nice and tall. Imagine an invisible thread is pulling the crown of the head up out of the hips. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Fingertips are grazing the mat. We'll inhale, bringing the arms by the ears, and exhale, fold forward. On the inhale, you're stretching the sternum away from the navel, and on the exhale, bringing the abdomen closer to the thighs. And you want to take this one breath at a time, little by little. Don't want to overdo anything in yoga. inhale, coming back up. Exhale, imagine invisible roots growing from the bottoms of the body, from the bottom of the legs and everything into the ground. That sounded weird. We'll inhale, bring the arms up by the ears, and exhale, fold forward. And inhale, let's come back up to seated. Okay, so from here, let's take the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Okay, inhale, lengthen the spine. On the exhale, we're going to twist the rib cage towards in the same direction as that bent knee. And then we'll inhale and bring the left arm up, and exhale, take it towards the left toes, ankle, or shin. You can also bring a strap around the foot if that works better for you. And then we'll bring the right hand behind the head with the elbow pointing up towards the ceiling. So this left side of the rib cage is kind of coming down towards the left thigh. We're going to inhale, open up the chest. On the exhale, the left side of the rib cage comes closer to the thigh. And you can keep it like this, or you can reach that right arm over so that the fingertips are reaching towards the toes. Really focusing on what's happening in the lungs here. This pose is really good for opening up the respiratory system. And then we'll inhale, bringing it back up. Let's come back to Dandasana, seated staff pose. Gently rocking back and forth, getting even on the sitting bones, pressing out through the heels, drawing the toes back in. Let's inhale, bring the arms up by the ears, and exhale, fold forward. And then we'll inhale, coming up to seated, and we'll take the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, twisting the rib cage so it's pointing the same general direction as that bent knee. Then we'll take the right arm and reach the hand towards the foot, ankle, or shin, or bring a strap around the foot. Then we'll bring the left hand behind the head with the elbow pointing up towards the ceiling. Taking a good inhale, opening up the chest. On the exhale, bringing the right side of the rib cage towards the thigh. And again, you can keep it like this, or reach that left arm over, reaching the fingertips towards the toes. And then we'll inhale, bringing it back up to center. Let's bring it into Dandasana one more time. I just want to even things out. Inhale, bringing the arms by the ears. Exhale, folding forward. And then we'll inhale, coming up to seated. Okay, so let's bring it into maybe an easy cross-legged pose or whatever is comfortable for you. And we'll bring the hands to the knees and come into Jnana Mudra, where we bring the pointer fingers to the thumbs. So the thumb represents the self, and the pointer finger represents the divine. So when we bring the pointer finger to the thumb, we're connecting with the divine. And then the other 3 fingers are sending that energy back out into the universe. So it's sort of about universal connection. All right, so I want to practice something called Kapalabhati. If you have high blood pressure or any issues with your internal organs, you may want to skip this part or just take it really easy. Be sure to take it at your own pace. If you ever start to feel lightheaded, you can always pull back and either discontinue the practice or slow it down to a pace that feels comfortable for you. But Kapalabhati is about, it's a breath practice that focuses on the exhale. It's an active exhale and a passive inhale. So we're going to be really focusing on the exhale. And that exhale originates from the core. So it's almost like, I always imagine that I'm laying on my back and my son comes and tries to like jump on top of me. My stomach makes like an automatic, like instinctive reaction to like squeeze all the muscles to protect all my internal organs. So it's kind of like that feeling of someone coming to put pressure on your stomach and you're reacting to it. So you should be feeling something like that going on in the abdominal area when you're doing your exhale. And then the inhale just happens naturally in between the exhales, okay? So we're gonna do 30 counts of it, and if you feel comfortable going at my pace, that's great. If you don't, like I said, you can stop the video, fast forward through this part, or go at your own pace, whatever works better for you, okay? Okay, so inhale, and all right, so that's it. It's also, so Kapala means skull, and I think Bhakti means shining, so it's called the skull shining breath, and it helps to clear out the respiratory system. So that's why I included it in our Spring Dosha Balancing practice. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and bring the soles of the feet to the mat. And imagine that you're holding a tray full of drinks that you don't want to spill, and you're slowly lowering down to the mat, little by little, one breath at a time, maybe using a few breaths to help you get there, using the core. Okay, so let's bring the heels in towards the hips, reaching the fingertips towards the heels. Take a good inhale. On the exhale, engage the lower abs. Inhale, release. On the exhale, engage the lower abs. Inhale, release. Exhale, engaging the lower abs. Inhale, release. And then we'll spread the fingers nice and wide. Notice the feet. You want to notice the chakras in the hands and the feet here. So really feel an energetic connection between the hands and the feet and the mat. And then on the inhale, we're going to lift the hips coming into bridge pose. So from here, if you'd like, you can clasp the hands underneath the body, lifting the hips a little bit more, rotating the inner arms towards the ceiling, pinning the shoulders to the mat, and then relaxing the glutes and allowing the legs to do more of the work here in bridge pose. Good, inhale, and the exhale, we'll release the hands, releasing the hips back down to the mat. Inhale, lifting the knees, exhale, hugging the knees towards the chest, gently rocking from side to side. Keeping the sacrum in contact with the mat, keeping it safe. Okay. Let's bring the soles of the feet back down to the mat. So if you want, you can practice bridge pose again, or if you'd like to practice wheel, you can bring the hands. My hair is totally getting in the way here. Let's see. Bring your hands to the sides of the head with the fingertips pointing towards the shoulders and the elbows pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Feel those chakras in the hands and the feet again. And then on the inhale, we're gonna lift the hips and bring the crown of the head to the mat, but really engage the shoulders so that you don't put too much pressure on the neck, okay? So like this, and then press through the hands and the feet, lifting the hips up and lifting the head up off the mat, coming into wheel. Then we'll bend the elbows, bringing the back of the head to the mat. And slowly lowering the spine down to the mat to come out of wheel. All right, so if you'd like, you can do legs up the wall pose here, or if you'd prefer not to do an inversion, you could do reclined butterfly, just letting the knees open out. But if you want, you can also practice shoulder stand. So bridge pose and wheel, I believe, and definitely shoulder stand are all really good for the lungs and the respiratory system. So it's another good reason to practice them during the springtime when we have lots of allergies. And, oh, by the way, there's a pandemic and it's a respiratory infection, so why not? Why not work on that, okay? So let's stretch the legs out, point the toes, and bring the legs over the head. Getting some momentum here. And then you're going to shoot the toes up towards the ceiling, bringing the hands to the lower back, engaging the core and keeping your gaze straight on the toes. Don't turn the head from side to side here. Really engaging the core. You can experiment here, maybe lowering one leg and then bringing it back up, and then lowering the other leg and bringing it back up. Lowering both legs, coming into plow pose. And then if you've reached plow pose, maybe bend the knees, bringing them over the ears for deaf man's pose. This pose always makes me laugh. It's so silly. Okay, and then we're gonna flex the feet and press the feet up towards the ceiling, like you're pushing a ceiling tile back into the ceiling with your feet, of course. All right, and then we're gonna lower the spine one vertebra at a time down to the mat. And then we're gonna lower the legs 1 inch at a time, pointing the toes. Down to the mat. All right, good work, everybody. Let's roll the shoulders away. Make plenty of space in the body. You can bring the arms away from the body. Just let the legs open up, let the feet flop out. Coming into Savasana. And you can maybe rotate the head from side to side, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the eyes. Bringing the gaze straight forward. Maybe thinking about something that you want to bring more of into your life. And maybe something else that you want to put more of out into the world, if that makes any sense. So I'll give you something specific. For me, I'm working on patience and compassion. So on the inhale, I'm going to be breathing in patience. And on the exhale, breathing out compassion. You can actually do mudras with the hands for that too. The mudra for patience is the middle finger, of course, coming to the thumb. And then the mudra for compassion is the ring finger touching the thumb. So on the inhale, I'm breathing in patience. On the exhale, breathing out compassion. And you don't have to try to do anything special with the breath here. Just allow the breath to happen naturally. Kind of observing it as it moves through the body. Release that intention. Just simply bring your awareness to the breath. Take a nice inhale. Good exhale. You start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Make circles with the wrist and the ankles. And then we'll inhale, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, pointing the toes. Take a nice long body stretch. A good inhale, and on the exhale, make our way onto the right side of the body. Coming into the fetal position. Coming back to the breath. Noticing where you are at this particular moment. Then we'll take the top hand, pressing it into the floor in front of you, gently, carefully, slowly pressing yourself up into a comfortable seated position. We'll inhale, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, taking the hands to heart center. There is no one path to happiness, but the path itself is happiness. I thank you for joining me today while our paths have crossed. The light within me salutes the light within you. Namaste. Well, thank you again for joining me for this Spring Dosha Balancing sequence. I hope this kind of puts some spring in your step, gets you going, clears out all the gunk, and helps you stave off the allergies and infections and things like that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more yoga videos. I also have a bunch of tarot card readings and a few guitar videos if you're interested in that. So thank you again for tuning in, and have a great day or night.